Hi guys, happy Friday, it's Jen. I want to start a vlog because I thought I could talk about a lot of mind hacks better than I could write about certain mind hacks, and I also just wanted to try something new. So today I'm going to start talking about motivation, something that I've been dealing a lot with in my life lately, trying to get my private practice started, trying to kind of find my footing in Seattle, and something I know that a lot of my friends and loved ones have been dealing with. And when that stuff kind of comes up in my life, I'm motivated to kind of figure out a way to conceptualize it and tackle it head on. And so once I do that, obviously all I want to do is share it with you. So I developed 6 things that I think kind of help with motivation. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about in regards to motivation has to deal with goals. Now, motivation is naturally something that drives you towards a goal. You're not just arbitrarily out there in the world just moving. We all have something we want to achieve, and very often at some point in our life we kind of look around and we go, what am I doing? This isn't what I want to be doing. I want to do something better. I want to do something more. Very often with goals, we want them to be internal goals, something that we will feel self-love and self-value from. So first thing, assess your goal. What is it going to give you? What is it going to do to make your life better? And if it's something that you feel that will ultimately make you a happier person, then yeah, let's go there. So the second part of that is, what is what you're doing now that's directly in competition with your goal give you? And that's called a secondary gain. So a secondary gain is something that you're probably doing right now. You really enjoy it, it makes your life incredibly easy, and ultimately it's keeping you from your goal. You want to lose 30 pounds. Well, what are you doing right now that's preventing you from doing that? You're probably not eating that well, you're probably not exercising, and you're probably having 1 or 2 more beers than you should be on a regular basis, let's be honest. And all those things are fun. Having an extra beer is fun. Eating really delicious food is fun. Not going to the gym and watching television is really fun. The first thing you want to do is assess your secondary gains. What are the things that make you happy right now about your current life that's impeding your goal that you need to get rid of? Take all those things. Take the food, take the not exercise, take the extra beers, put them in a box, and throw them away and put them to the side and recognize. You're going to have to identify them, and you're going to have to just move them aside. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is, very often with big goals, we need small goals. You can't just climb a flight of stairs in one step. You have to do small goals. So, 30 pounds. Okay, let's start. What do you need to do first? Maybe you need to get a gym membership. That's a small goal. That's something that you can achieve, and it's not this crushing weight of impending doom or impending success, or this feeling that, I may fail if I don't achieve this, because ultimately, maybe there's this goal 30 pounds down the line, but losing 1 pound is still awesome. Eating well is way better than nothing at all. So you have to recognize that the small goals build up to a big goal, and each step counts. Third thing is, and this is the one that I struggle with, the one that I know my clients also struggle with, and it's one that you're just going to have to do it, suck it up and do it. Commit publicly. Shout it from the rooftops, put a radio overhead, make a sign, talk about it on Facebook. At least then someone will be doing something productive on Facebook, right? And then your friends won't have to read another status update about someone's stupid new sweater. They actually get to read about something exciting and productive in someone else's life, like, yay, I'm committing to something really great for myself. And with that comes accountability, and accountability can be really scary because accountability means that later on you could be quite embarrassed if you don't fulfill your goal. But ultimately, the committing publicly thing does 2 things. Develops accountability, and it allows you to get really excited about something that you're doing, because when you build up that much excitement and you build up that much anticipation, you're naturally going to want to achieve your goal. So the 4th thing is, it's accepting the lull. Accepting the lull is when that box of stuff that we put away kind of bubbles back up, and we're forced to kind of look at it and go, do I really want to give up the cheeseburgers? Do I really want to give up the fun stuff that made my life so easy and is so familiar? And we get to assess those things, and we get to look at them, and we get to recognize that, yes, I do ultimately want to give those things up. Because what we have to recognize is that being uncomfortable is normal. You're going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to have to recognize that some days are going to be hard. You can have all of that momentum built up, and if you have one bad day or one day where you don't do what you're supposed to do, you can't just throw it all in the pail and go, it's a bust. So something I've always found, whenever I'm having negative emotions or whenever I'm having a bad day, is I have to recognize that the feelings are temporary. And what I really care about is the long-term goal. So if I'm in a grumpy mood, I can choose to lash out to my partner, or I can choose to lash out to my coworkers. I can just suck it up and recognize that the long-term consequence of being a snarky jerk is not really going to get me where I want to go in my life. So that's a big part. Accept the lulls, recognize there will be a lack of motivation, and deal with it. The fifth thing, and one of the most important things, probably the most important thing, is develop your network. When you're changing your life, you have to recognize that there are some people that they may be counterproductive. So if you had friends that going back to the 30 pounds thing, if you had friends that went and got tons of beer and they ate cheeseburgers and they didn't work, they were rather lethargic and not very active, and you're deciding to change your life and become this active person, they're not really going to fit into the puzzle anymore, and it's probably going to be really difficult for you to maintain the motivation that you need to achieve your goal. So what I always recommend is find a network. Find people who are like-minded, who are trying to achieve the same goals. That's why things like Weight Watchers exist, or running groups, or any like-minded individual. Find those people, because just because you're hanging around them doesn't mean that you'll necessarily change, but what will happen is you'll start observing them. You'll start seeing how they interact. You'll start seeing how they think. When I was depressed, I started hanging out with a lot of happy people, and at first I was like, these people suck. I don't want to hang out with these people. But after a while, I really enjoyed being around them, because I got to see that it wasn't that they were just these mindless drones who were so happy, they were just wandering around not paying attention to the world. They just recognized that there was crappy stuff in the world, and they chose to just not honor it the way they honor the happy things. And that's kind of a truth in life, is you just have to recognize the good things and kind of brush the bad things aside, because it's like feeding a monster. You don't want to feed a monster, because then they'll stick around. So the last thing, and the one that I personally like and I find very helpful when I'm trying to maintain motivation, is rewarding myself. So I've had 6 good days of eating, I've had 6 good days of working out, I've been really positive, I've achieved all my goals, whatever they are, and back to talking about my private practice, I've done a lot of things this week that have helped me get up to the point of developing my private practice. So on Saturday, I'm going to relax. I'm going to have a nice day. I'm not going to check my email all day. I'm not going to fret about what's coming on Monday. And that's a reward for me. I'm going to watch an episode of The League, and I'm probably going to eat a piece of pizza, and it'll be great. Because I did 6 days of really good things, and I'm going to indulge a little. But ultimately, I'm not going to do something that's going to be completely counterproductive to my long-term goal. So, I hope those help. I hope those 6 things help. I hope you take all of those things into account when you're trying to maintain motivation. If you're struggling, or if you feel like you have any questions, please feel free to email me or comment below. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.